So, I'm going to go back to add some
Now, we
laser
can't see it
crimson.
from here, but can you actually see where you've waxed? So that you know
No,
what you
I can
perceive?
feel it.
Carol,
But,
I usually put a piece of black paper underneath it, and then you can see where.
and who told you that, Kat? Connie? I got ringers. Can you kind of see now where it's waxed and where it's not?
that.
I especially do this before I'm at the very end, because it's really important then.
Then you can see where places you've missed.
And even as I don't paint on wax paper, we're going to do it now just to speed things up. Alizarin crimson, and we're going to paint the line. Now, I can be pretty sloppy next to this wax line, right? Because that's waxed out, that's already protected. It's not protected on the edges. So Carol, be careful. Don't paint it, don't paint it. I wasn't paying attention and I threw some wax in here, so that's just going to have to be that way. We'll wax out. At home, you would wax out everything that's shown on the piece. Okay? So I would wax out the vase, I would wax out the oranges, I would wax out the bowl, I would wax out the highlights in the wine glass. Okay, now, can you see this alizarin crimson scooting out? Ooh, that's a bad thing. Carol, watch for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hopefully get a clean brush and soften it with water. Okay? I don't care that the wall is that color. You also have limited success with blotting. It's still going to scoot. But you can at least think, well, I tried. And actually, the tinting, I think, adds a lot to the background. Heidi, what's it called, Pam?
Integrating the subject with the background.
All right, see? It's not just being sloppy, isn't it? It's not nice. Yeah. I paint the table with a gold brown because I have that color, otherwise I would just mix it around. But once again, when you're teaching beginners, acrylic painters especially, I mean, they use 4 kinds of blues to shade and paint one object. They just want to add a little something to it, so they're used to using just this color, this color. And then I'm just filling it in with this gold brown color. I see I forgot to draw this shadow shape in on this one. I'm not going to use that paper. It sort of goes like that, we're going to say. I don't care if this scoots down here, because this is going to be a darker brown anyways. So I can layer that color, it's going to be fine. That's what she says. I'm kind of painting in a hurry because I want to show you how it looks when you iron things out and how to fix things. There's a lot of opportunities here. Just treating another teaching moment. round wash brush. Go through, screw it around, let's put some paint in here. Be careful, don't tear it.
Now, if you did tear it, is there a way of fixing that tear?
Yeah, I don't care. I'll show you one in just a second that's got a couple tears in it. That's one of the reasons I spatter. Talked a little about Kathy George. She doesn't spatter as often as I do, but then like I said, she likes waxing and she paints drier and is a much more careful painter. I love the wet and the wet. I did acrylics, I like the wet and wet. This might scoot up on the wall, I don't care. The wall's going to be the raw sienna, a lighter color. It's okay to mix a puddle. I'm not so much a puddle painter, but I wouldn't speed things up if I did that. Now, okay, hopefully I've waxed this face up the right way. Okay, and it's stopping where the wax is. Just as I planned. Okay. Actually, I want the color to be even lighter than that. So I'm going to wet the paper first, right? All watercolor to make it lighter, you add water.
Do you ever crackle the paper? Like,
I used to, I don't anymore because I've had more people ruin their painting that way. How he's talking about is, like with batiking, after it's all done, we're going to wax it. And then we're going to put purple spots on it. Sometimes people would crackle it first. Once again, it's a fingernail thing. Ruining your paper or whatever. Or they'll the purple will go and just put a big blob right in your painting where you don't want it. Now, you can probably see these stripes in here. That's where there's wax. Okay. And I should have waxed out the rest of the line. The directions are correct. I want to get this done. Okay. But that's the joy of waxing it up, that I can, I don't have to paint careful anymore. That wax is going to save it. We'll put this on, and if it dries, we can talk about it, but I've got another one in the oven, okay? So the theory is I'm going to put raw sienna, or variations thereof, in the background. But I'm going to take a little bit of the lizard crimson for a color unity thing, and just hit or miss, throw it here and there, tinting the old wallpaper, but also, then the spill here that's spilled out is not going to look as obvious. If it's your only spot, it's going to look obvious. And of course, we never have mistakes.
The paints that you're painting with, do they, I know they dry out, but do they come back to life when you put water on them?
Yeah.
Better than other watercolor paints?
Yeah, and they don't squish together in your palette or crack.
Well, they
It
don't?
stays pretty moist. Not as moist probably as Rembrandt watercolor. I used to use a lot of those, but much better than Daniel Smith or
Well,
not Trader Joe's, the Cheap Joe's.
Oh, Cheap Joe's? Oh, just because I told you I was using.
I usually go to Trader Joe's and calls it Cheap Joe's. My husband goes, "Where are you going?" "Where's a Cheap Joe's?" But you can spatter, just to make it look old. Yeah, okay, just perfect. Okay, having said that, okay, so we would do that again. Then after this dries, then I would go back in and wax out these stripes. Okay? That'll make my light stripes. Then I would do another coat on here of the same raw sienna, a little bit of alizarin, spatter some more. That'll make it darker stripes. Okay? The original had this really flowery wallpaper and stuff on it, and I did that the first time. And my patience wasn't there to wax out all these little things of them. And I, you know, quite frankly, I didn't get add this away.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, on your plan, you said that was your plan, how, there goes two purple stripes here.
Yep.
Are you going to do something with that on your paper, on your actual artwork here?
Here's what's going to be.
What was that all about?
That's a waxing diagram. So what it would be, it's like a raw sienna, kind of a mixture of the thing. Then I would come back and, see where I'm going with this. Wax this out, then I could paint a darker color here.
Okay, so the purple was where you would wax it out?
Yep.
Oh, okay, thank you.
That's the waxing diagram. And this is this is my first draft, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with. A lot of tinting there, but you asked about holes. Tear right here. But because it's spattered around here, you can't tell which is which.
Yeah, right.
How
So,
do you get that frayed edge? I saw your triptych there and the edges were frayed and it was just gorgeous without adding.
well, when I tore it, when it was dry, otherwise, when it's, you just want to get a little bit of a frayed edge, what you do is, this is, right now, doesn't have any fraying to it. I wet it. Let it work. Take your thumbnail and pull it.
Thank you.
That's it. Thanks for asking. I planned it.
It's very nice to not have to mat that. It's a very nice technique.
You know, the framers of the crowd won't agree with you, but I do. I wasn't Kathy, George probably mats all of hers. I don't tuck anything in. I'm not going to tuck my paintings in if I don't have to. Think about it. You
Do
know.
you mount yours on watercolor paper then, or?
I do
How do you
because
mount it?
I want to watercolor paper because I can tear the watercolor paper. So what I would do is, I might as well show you the end. We're still sorting the ironing out, but okay, so this is the finished one. What I would do is take my tape pen, best tool in the world. I kind of love my tape pen. I don't bother with the archival tape. 50 years, 100 years, I don't know. But I tape the paper. Normally when you use a tape gun, you tape the object and you put it to the paper. Here, it won't stick well enough, so you gotta tape that. And to work the tape gun, to make it roll, you push it down and you take it off when you want to stop and you hiccup. Okay, it kind of tears or whatever. And then you would put it down. And it's done. Normally what I would do, I'll find a frame first, pre-made art at Michael's or whatever, and then I would then tear it to fit that. Especially the little ones. This card is an example where there's still white underneath the design. Okay? That's right.
Yeah,
White
that's okay.
underneath the design, and then I color blocked it with the other colors. So it's got Batik paper, white paper, yellow paper, green paper. Okay? Look up the iron smoke. It will be fine. It should be fine. So here's a smaller version of what we did.
Okay.
And this has already been waxed out. Almost all of it. You touch it now.
And the purpose of waxing out is just so the paper's all consistently the same?
Yeah, because it won't be shiny all the same. But also I'm gonna do what makes it a batik, when you put like the purple little dots
Okay.
on it. And if it's not all waxed out, then you're gonna see where you missed. So let's use my black piece of paper and see where I missed. All right, perfect. So we're gonna mix purple paint. I just happen to have purple paint here.
Now, here's where you could crackle it if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, if you wanted the crackle ones, you would crackle it,
Now.
and then you would lay it flat. and you get little hunks of paper, and it's really, really, really messy. So I no longer do that, that's what I have in my house. And then, actually, you would do it over a trash can, because it kind of, and then you gotta lay it flat, then you have hunks of loose and hard wax on it.
Right.
But I don't even notice that the purple still comes out. Okay,
So
now,
it just naturally
You don't
cracks a
crack
little
it
bit?
before?
it doesn't really crack, but you get little spots.
So this is on top of the wax now.
Everything is waxed up, and I've got purple, and I'm putting purple on. And the bigger beads is more water, so you gotta decide how big you want it. You don't have to put it everywhere. It's like, oh gee, I really love this flower, I can't put purple over it. And you just take your tissue and you can just blot it off, okay? I consider it like a spattering. It's a unifying thing to the whole painting, okay? I've done some where I haven't, thinking, well, I love the painting the way it is, I'm not gonna put it on, and you know what, it was missing it. It kind of makes it even less perfect, no, that's word of grammar. So then, after you have the purple on, you have to wax it again. Yeah.
So is the purple on top of the wax?
Yep, this thing was all waxed up. I waxed it this way and I waxed it this way.
Why do you have to wax it again?
To set the purple.
To set the purple?
So the purple is still wet right now.
Yeah, this time you don't have to. You could wait for it to dry, but you don't have to. If you scoop it, you'll have the little bumps of paint, the little circles. If you go like this, you'll have streaks. You see that? I speared it. If you care.
So when you iron it, does it sort of push the purple into the paper?
Kind of does.
But if you crinkle it, then you get the purple in there.
Yeah, but you have absolutely no control of that crinkle. You crinkle it and you could have, if you have over your favorite flower and it doesn't just go in a little crack, you could have a big old blob. Because once again, the fibers, it wicks and stuff, and you can certainly do that. But once again, teaching a successful class, that's kind of where I go, how I'm considered.
How hot do you make the iron? Do you turn it up to full blast?
It's full blast, cotton and linen, the hottest.
Great.
I have a question.
How hot the iron's on, as hot as it goes.
If you put your fingers behind the painting, in just the places you want it to crackle, you don't have to crunch it up, you can just kind of crack that wax, so then you'll get more texture.
You're a braver woman than I am, Ronnie.
Well, you have to use stick.
Your husband is just whining to you about that. That's, well, how can they fix it? You can't. It's there.
Carol, do you have cracks already throughout, just because?
There's not cracks, but there's smears of purple. It could be cracks.
Because the wax didn't cover it entirely, or is that purple sitting